Welcome to another episode of the Ballinesian Podcast here on the Polytickin Network. Someone's talking about sports, Charger and Raider fan, about to break down some of the latest in the NFL, including the Raiders planning to extend Geno Smith, the Chargers taking control of marketing rights in Greece. Yeah, it's a slow time. NFL rule proposals and some March Madness. Shout out to Hina Pau Pau. And also, we're going to end this episode with the latest on that Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth freaking Rollins triple threat match that is now headlining WrestleMania. Does this mean Jey Uso is not in the main event as a championship? Oh, okay, we'll talk about it a little bit. But yeah, someone's talking about sports here on the Ballinesian Podcast. We are on the Polytickin Network. Support the Patreon, subscribe to the YouTube page, follow the socials. The Polytickin Podcast on Instagram, also at Cepha at Oh Hello Marcus. Rate 5 stars on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to. Share this to anybody looking for pod and content recommendations. Podcast sponsored by Levasa Island Apparel. Shout out to Brother Uri down there in Modesto, California. If you're not there, you can check out the Instagram at le_vasa or the website www.levasaislandapparel.com. Or you can see them live in person in a few weeks at the Pie Fest Steam Fair in San Mateo. It's going to be on April 12th. Follow We Are Pie Fest on Instagram.
You said pie and I got hungry.
Yeah, always. Yeah, but Levasa teaming up, going to be there at the Steam Fair. So definitely check that out on his page. Also, I love the dropping the knowledge on like the industry, freaking how he prints stuff. Levasa is showing you in that latest reel. So
hey, if there's one thing our guy's gonna do, he's gonna teach you to eat. You know what I mean? He's gonna show you how to eat on your own. So that's good information. Go check it out, please.
Love it. All right, Charger. Forrest, you're a Raider fan. I can see it. I can see it all over you.
Oh, this is this old stuff.
The latest news coming out of Raiders camp is that they are trying to re-sign the quarterback they recently traded for, Geno Smith, to a contract extension. Tom Brady's taken over, but Geno Smith definitely a Pete Carroll guy. And Pete Carroll wanting to have that floor, have a veteran quarterback instead of going with somebody young or new. How does this news make you feel? What do you think? Is this a good plan for the Raiders?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's good for both the Raiders and Geno. You want to go into your first season with the team, and you want to take your quarterback and have him be there. You both want to be comfortable. And I know for a lot of guys that start a new job, you don't want to go there and be like, damn, I only got a year, or I got a year to impress, or I can't do this because I'm only here for a year and they won't resign me. So getting him to a contract extension goes a long way to having him be comfortable there and not having him worry, like look over his shoulder all the time on whether or not they're going to resign him next year, what he has to do. Like, are there incentives that he has to reach for him that he gets re-signed next year? So that's pretty good. And it also speaks to the Raiders being comfortable with having him there for like 3 years, and then looking for the guy that they probably could draft this year, who's going to be their future quarterback. But they know that they have time to develop that quarterback when he comes in, because um, despite what a lot of Seahawks fans said last year, despite what I said a lot last year about Geno Smith, he's actually, if you look at the stats, and we are a numbers we're a numbers type of program, especially with you. Lance does great with numbers. He was actually pretty good the whole time he was in Seattle. I mean, interceptions, that's tough. Quarterbacks throw interceptions. Not a lot of times it's their fault alone, but they are throwing the ball. So, I mean, maybe he comes over, he can get helped with, but also his best years were with Pete Carroll. So, we'll see. But I think the contract extension, like you asked, I think it serves both the Raiders and Geno Smith going into this new season. That way he can be comfortable, he can do what he can, and the Raiders don't have to rush into getting another quarterback in there.
So Geno Smith, 35. going to sign a contract extension. The last time he signed a contract extension was in 2022 with the Seahawks. It was a 3-year, $75 million deal. He is on the final year of that deal. He is making $31 million this year. Another piece of information that might be interesting as they're having talks about making this extension for Geno is what Geno declined in Seattle. The Seahawks, before having to trade Geno Smith away, offered Geno a 2-year extension that would have paid him $40 million this year. So what do you think? Do you think it's got to be like it's more years for Geno? Or like it doesn't seem like the money. He's making 30, he could have made 40, but it's like they only wanted to give him one guaranteed year in Seattle. So it's, to me, it seems like maybe he wants it for more years than he does like necessarily trying to make me the highest paid quarterback or anything like that.
I think he's smart enough to know that he's not going to get like the highest paid quarterback money.
Right.
You know? But also, like you said, people want longevity in their career. Excuse me. They want to know that they're like, you know what I mean? Like
the money's constant. The checks are going to keep coming longer. Yeah.
No matter what the money is, as long as it's coming, and he wants to play. Also, I think he's kind of tired of just playing behind a bad line and the front office in Seattle not really doing anything about it. I know they have a new coach there, so they're really just trying to figure out what like his roster, the guys he needs to bring in to run his offense, maybe. But it isn't college ball anymore. When you're playing college football, like your college coach, where he came from, college ranks. No, actually, sorry, he didn't come from the college ranks. He's Ravens, huh? With the Ravens?
Mike McDonald?
Yeah.
I think he was in college, some college too, but yeah, with the Ravens.
Okay, yeah. But like I said, like maybe in college you can do that. You can take a little time, try to figure out your roster, recruit guys that come in. But for the NFL, it's a win now league. And they're definitely not winning now. They weren't bad. They weren't like at the bottom of the league last year.
But their offensive line was kind of bad.
Yes,
right. Their offensive line numbers, efficiency ratings compared to the rest of the league for the Seahawks was bad. So the fact that Geno Smith made anything happen positive last year was pretty good. Showing for Geno. It's kind of the opposite of what new Seahawks quarterback Sam Darnold was in a really great situation, great weapons, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, amazing offensive line, good system. Now going to that, less talented roster, we're going to see what Sam Darnold can do. But Geno Smith, going from that Seattle offense to the Raiders offense, how would you compare the offensive lines, like rating wise? Is it about the same for the Raiders, or are the Raiders a lot better at a certain position?
Man, I know
because that would mean that Geno Smith is going to be even better than he was.
No, for sure. I think their line last year, the Raiders, they weren't. I think they were about average, and that's more than what Seattle was last year.
Okay.
If Colton Miller is, if he's healthy, because he wasn't healthy all last year, if he's healthy, he takes care of that shoulder injury that it's been nagging him. Then I put him because he used to be not, but 2 years ago
was highly touted.
Yeah, top 5 tackle in the league.
And he's at left tackle still?
Left tackle. I think they've been shuffling out like tackles at right tackle with the rookie DJ Glaze. They've had a couple guys there, but I think throughout the end of the season they kind of rock with Glaze. They restructured the inside of the line. They let go of Andre James. I think they're gonna start.
How did you feel about that?
He was cool, but
that Andre James specifically.
He was super, he was average as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the Chargers signed him, so I'm trying to feel like if the Raider fans are like, oh man, we really wanted him, then I feel a lot better. But it seems more like a depth piece or could take over at center from Bradley.
He did the job. He did the job, but he for a guy who had started for almost 3 seasons for them, you kind of expected just a little bit more, at least improvement because he's a younger guy. Yeah. Gotcha. And then Jackson Powers
should have been better.
Right, should have been better. But Jackson Powers came in and everybody's just like, oh gosh, this dude's killing. And they wanted him at guard, which would have been cool because then it would have been everybody touts him as the second coming of Richie Incognito. I have no problem with that. As long as he's
on the field?
As long as he's on my team. Yeah, on the field.
Oh, you mean like his temperament? Or his play?
Look, Jonathan, whatever his
Oh
name, came out
no.
and said he was lying. He said he came out
Oh,
and
okay,
said
okay,
he
okay.
was lying. I
So,
mean, but with Jackson Paja, they move him over to center, which is a position he played in most of college, which
for
is great.
Oregon,
Yeah, for Oregon. And then now they can they've got guys who play guard, guys moving to their natural positions at left guard. I know they're still looking to possibly either sign someone or maybe draft
sure.
someone. Yeah, so they're probably looking for a little bit more depth in the line, but I think they're a little bit more stable on the O line than Seattle is at the moment.
Well, now you're talking with this news of Geno Smith working with the Raiders to get a contract extension. It seems like the need to draft a quarterback goes way down if you have one. Uh, but like you said, they still could, if freaking Ward or Sanders drops to 6. I know the Sanders has been connected to the Raiders a lot. Uh, they wouldn't, they wouldn't mind taking their quarterback in the future to kind of sit behind a professional like Geno Smith for a while. If the Raiders don't take a quarterback, because now they're working towards extending Geno Smith, what do you think they're doing there at number 6? What do you think is the best the option? You're gonna have guys. You have guys mocked to the Raiders at number 6, all over the place, right? If the best
Yeah,
player, if freaking Abdul Carter somehow falls because of this freaking foot injury, you might be able to take him. Ashton Genty could be a really great running back for a long time. Roy McMillan, wide receiver out of Arizona, uh, might not watch tape on his own, but he will do it along with the group. And that's a number one wide receiver that you could have, or a defensive player, maybe even an offensive line. Maybe you sign, an or draft an offensive tackle there at number 6. If they don't take a
yeah.
quarterback, what would you hope the Raiders do?
I like Jetty at 6. I think he's a great running back. If people talk about generational talent at running back, I think he is. Um, um, I can see them taking him at 6. I do like also as the colonizers call him because they can't pronounce his name, T Mac or Tetairoa.
Tet.
Uh, oh my gosh, I like him. I like him at 6. There's been this whole thing about him not watching film. It looks like he's at somewhere like
It's like
having
eating somewhere, right?
right, like he looks like he's having lunch with his like a friend or maybe someone that just came up and wanted to be a street reporter. I can't confirm who the guy is recording, but he's just in like a conversation. It's kind of like I don't know. I don't know how much validity there is in what he's saying,
It
but
looks like I think someone kind of pointed it out as a older video.
right,
Uh, Maybe not. This was
it's like a
like,
few years,
hey,
yeah,
hey, he's prepping for the freaking draft, and he's like
right, why,
at
yeah,
In and Out.
right. That's what I'm saying. So, like, I get it. You don't want to ever hear that from someone you're about to draft, like, because you want the guys to come in ready to work. And watching film is part of that work. Not watching film with just your group, but if you're gonna take time, if you're gonna be
Your
great,
job.
right, it's your job to watch film. Not even just because you want to be the greatest. It's part of your job. That's your job requirement. Playing in the NFL is still a job. So you're gonna have to watch film. It goes a long way to helping your team win. At the same time, people are already just like, oh, on the kid. Like, and none of them know him. None of them have talked to him. None of them, he hasn't talked to anybody about it. And also think that says a lot. Like, if he's not out here, like, immediately trying to be like, no, I didn't say that. No, it's, you know what I mean? Like, because his camp and him, they know who he is. And I think a lot of teams have talked to him. They've already gauged the type of person he is and know that he's going to come in there and do work.
Mm.
So I get it, though. I get it.
Well,
It's just,
I
it's
people are going to see that and be like, oh, he's not fully committed to preparing to be,
for
the
sure.
greatest.
For
That
sure.
it's going to be a knock. I think like I'm seeing people mock him to the Raiders as a top 10 pick and stuff like that. I would not be surprised if he falls outside of the top 10 just because people are going to see that. And
So this is the
this
thing,
is your
too.
first round pick, right? You want to feel like
No,
it's
for
going to
sure.
pay off. Everyone wants to think their first
For
round pick is
sure.
going to pay off. So some
But
people are going to not be able to pass that. Like, oh, he's not like always in the film room, stuff like that. I don't know.
so this is what I'm saying. Like, because when you say people, you're referring to like me and you. and
No, like the people that make the decisions.
okay, so this is with all the money that they have, all the scouts that they have out there, all the guys that they put out there, they put so much money into recruiting. Do these people not like? Do they not think that teams that put out guys there to go find the stuff out? In-depth look from all the behind the scenes shows that you've seen about what these guys do, or um like documentaries on guys going through their draft. Like, you don't see the tedious things that NFL teams or NBA teams, Major League Baseball teams do to go and talk to people in your family, talk to your coaches, talk to the guys you played with. Like, and I know it's not always going to be truthful from some of them because that's your people. You're going to look out for your people, but like teams, they go out there and they do their homework. So I don't think it's as much of a worry for people in the front office because they've done their due diligence already.
Yeah.
Also, another thing is, I don't mind it because he's being honest. I wouldn't want him lying to me. And then like they have guys. I know it's from the movie. Uh, what is the name of the movie with Kevin Costner? Is it Draft Day? Is that the name of the movie?
Yeah, draft day.
Yeah. Uh, like how they try to trick certain players. Like if they have read all the whole playbook, read it through, they'll put like $100 bill at the end of the playbook to see if they read it through. Some guys return the playbook with still the money in it. You know, yeah, it's things like that. And I don't think it's. I would rather him tell the truth about stuff like that because that's something he can work on, or you can put it in his contract and he's gonna have to do it. So like
The
they had guys in their contract like they had to keep a certain weight. So there's things you can work around it, and I think with the talent that he has, I know a lot of teams like the Chargers are hoping he slips.
Oh yeah. But even aside from that, personal,
Right.
I'd like for
No, for
Tetsuya
sure.
to slip
For sure.
all the
Yeah.
way to 22, and the
Right.
Chargers get their ex receiver that
What team wouldn't?
frees
Yeah.
up Lad McConkey, stuff like that. But I mean, we've seen guys slip uh, from some like last minute stuff. The
Right.
Laramie
Yeah.
Tunsil with the bong gas
The
mask
ball.
the night
Yeah.
before the
Yep.
draft. He goes from like first overall to 10th or something like that. Um,
What's his name? Lyle Collins. He slipped like the week of draft too.
that was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy because he was like top five. They were like talking about him being in like
Yeah,
top five, top 10.
I don't think
And
he ever recovered from that either.
no, and it's bad because in Dallas you could tell he was good. Just
And yeah,
yeah,
he was
yeah,
buried.
yeah,
Uh, I think well, it's going to be worrisome if people see that, and I'm
for
sure
sure.
a bunch
But
of a
also,
bunch of GMs, even though they have the information, like, oh yeah, the kid always works hard. He's
yeah,
naturally
yeah,
gifted. He's talented also. But just that clip going viral of him saying the words, "Nah, I don't watch film. I
yeah.
already watch film with my wide receiver group. I don't have to do it on my own and stuff like that." That is an immediate like flag, and how big that red flag is to
To teams.
GMs
Yep.
into teams depends on, maybe they've been burned before by a guy who didn't do the
Hey,
homework,
hey,
so to speak.
hey, look, call me what do you call it again? Conspiracy theorist, but could have been a team that put it out there, hoping that he
Hey,
slips. You know what I mean?
maybe
It could have been
somebody at like 12 wants to make sure he makes it past the
right,
Raiders, past the Colts, past these other guys,
right. It could have been doctored. The film could have been doctored. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
with AI, it's
also
crazy.
the post that I saw saying that it was that
Older
video
video.
specifically was from like a year ago, and that he works hard now. It sounded very defensive. It sounded very like pro McMillan, right? But also like trying
Family
to
member, maybe.
maybe quiet all the like rumors and rage that he doesn't watch film and stuff like that. It was,
Right, right.
but it was leaning heavily the way that the adjectives and the thing was stressed out and
Burner account,
calling
maybe. Burner
everybody.
account.
Oh no, it was like a NFL Preem. It was like an NFL meme page, but
Oh, okay, okay.
like that also has like
Which is
analysis and
cool.
stuff.
At least he had, yeah, at least he has supporters out there. So,
So I mean, I would love for him to go six to the Raiders. He is being touted as the number one, but you would, if not taking a quarterback here, taking your future quarterback, would prefer uh Boise State running back Ashton Genty.
man, you know what? I do like Jesse. I think I think he's a guy who can come in and just like put up good numbers right away and help your team, especially a team who's transitioning into a new coach, new quarterback, new system with Chip Kelly there. And you were asking about
Oh, Chip
right.
Kelly.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
forgot.
So
Okay.
you were also asking about the line. So the line's gonna have to learn a new system, new way to block. Um, but Argenti might be perfect in that system, single back system, spread out like that. Uh he's gonna have so many one-on-ones out there in open space and just
Mm.
he might be able to kill. If we don't, I wouldn't be if we take T Mac, I also wouldn't mind getting like I think Quinshawn Judkins is probably the second best running back in the draft this year.
A really good running back with a later pick.
If we can get him at
Yeah.
that before. And Will
Okay.
Campbell's another guy because I love the offensive line. Will Campbell would be another guy I wouldn't mind at 6.
Okay. And then and now thinking from the Raiders' perspective, right, and the people that they have in charge of there, Pete Carroll, right, doesn't want any of these young guys. He's a defensive guy.
He is.
Tom Brady maybe has like a look on how this team should be shaped. GM John Spytek, who was in Tampa Bay with Brady, now the new GM there. What do you think is who do you think is most likely they pick at number 6?
Uh Man, if they're going because they have done some work on the defense. It might not look like it, but they went out and re-signed Malcolm Kuntz. That was big because he
Yeah.
had before he got hurt the season before that. I know it was late, but he came out with 8 sacks in that season, just in like the final 4 games, I think. Um, Re-signed him. They went out and got 2 linebackers who don't jump out at you right away. And the guy they took from Pittsburgh, if you look at his numbers, so like I was saying the other day,
Landon
he
Roberts.
yeah, Landon Roberts, he was like PFF stat wise, number one against I think it's the pass. In linebackers. He had really good
Nice,
numbers.
nice.
Yeah, he had
Like a
good numbers.
Troy.
Right. So like either way, he's going to replace Robert Spillane, and you can't replace the energy that Robert Spillane brought to the Raiders uh, right away. I don't know if Roberts is going to come in and be that guy, but right away, that's hard to do because Spillane was like with the fans, with the organization, he was just big, not just on
Mm-hmm.
the field, but off the field. So that's going to be hard. But production wise, I think it's tick for tack. Either he's going to be just as good or he's going to be better, but he's not going to be less than. I can say that much. They
Okay.
also went out and got Devin White, who was
Yep.
a top 5 pick in the league. He went 1 pick after they picked Cleveland Farrell. The Raiders picked Cleveland Farrell at 4, and then Devin White went 5 to the Bucks. His career has been so-so. I know a lot of people expecting a lot more than him, but he's only 27. Uh, he can come.
Oh,
Is he
wow.
27? He might be a little older than 27. I'm probably lying, but he's probably like 31. But
What? Oh, look.
but uh, but he's another guy. He can sideline to sideline. He plays sideline to sideline. He hits people. He was good in Tampa Bay while he was there as well. So I'm excited to see Devin White there. And if
27
he,
years old. Yeah.
oh,
But does seem like he's
that's
31. He
not
seems
a
like he's been
liar.
around.
You has been, yeah.
But he does seem like he's been around
Yeah,
for someone
it
like
does
31.
because I mean this is
So
going to be his third team, especially if you're like in multiple teams. It just seems like you've been in the league a little bit longer. So
with all the work that the Raiders have done in free agency on the defensive side of the ball,
Will Johnson,
you think they're going to go
I
Will
think they
Johnson?
go
He's going
corner
to
and
get
Will
down.
Johnson because they have all right corners in the corners that they got. They haven't traded away Jack Johnson. There's been a lot of rumors about Jack Johnson getting traded away
Jones?
at least, or
Johnson?
Jack Jones. Sorry, Jack Jones. I'm thinking Will Johnson. But there's been a lot of rumors about Jack Jones getting traded just so they can get something back from him. They don't want to just release him. But also Jack Jones reportedly has been putting in work in the offseason and really likes the organization where it's at. And I know a lot of people expected him to kind of just be like bolting because AP was the only real coach that he got productivity out of. Like AP brought the most out of him. But I think maybe Jack Jones has grown up a little bit matured and knows that it's a job and you can't just go somewhere like, well, now that AP's not coaching anywhere, you can't just go where AP goes because he might call to you, which isn't what happened because he got suspended by AP when they thought, or benched, not suspended, sorry, when they thought he wasn't tackling. So Will Johnson's. If I'm going defense, and I know it's a stretch for a lot of people because he's mocked like in the later part of the first round, like late 20s. But Jihad Campbell, the linebacker out of Alabama, I think is going to be a really good one, and um, I wouldn't mind if they reached up and grabbed him at 6.
I'm
Yeah, yeah. If they
that
do
good.
go offense, I don't think they're going to go quarterback unless the first two drop. So I think it's going to be Genty or Tetaito. Either one would be cool. O line, Will Campbell. I don't think he's going to go before 6. I think Will Campbell is also another generational talent along the line. So
The
it'll
short
be
arm
nice.
guy?
Yeah, man. Talking to a guy who's
Bro,
5'8", bro. I don't have no problem.
man, he's like, man, everyone thought I was great until they found out my arms were like
That's what I'm
32 and
saying.
5/8 and not
No one,
34 inches.
no one said anything about it when he was playing his whole career at LSU. Like they
And
was
then they
praising
pulled the
him,
measuring tape
and they
out and
put a
they're
measuring
like,
tape. I
oh,
was like,
you're
oh
a
no,
guard.
he can't do the job. You know what I mean? He
Damn,
doesn't
that's
have long
crazy.
enough arms. But look, a miracle happened. He went to his pro day and his arms got longer. So don't even worry about it.
He
Okay,
measured a full 33 inches
now
at his college taping.
that's what I'm saying. See, it's 33.
He's like, so what do you want to believe? Okay, guys?
That's what I'm
Pick
saying,
your
bro.
sets of data.
I think it's ridiculous on both ends. Like the fact that it wasn't a whole inch before, like a whole 33 inches before. It's like maybe like minuscule, and then you get there and all of a sudden it's 30. I think both sides are being ridiculous. Like I don't know.
They're just like, just push your arm up to here. All
Right.
right.
Like
You measured.
lean forward a little bit.
All right. That's what we have for the Raiders. Thank you for providing that. For the Chargers, it's been pretty quiet. They got exclusive international marketing rights to Greece. They're
Hey,
the
I
only
like that.
country. They're the only team in that country.
Might be a reason, but hey, I like it.
It's a slow time.
Hey, look,
Global Markets Program 2025 for the NFL.
NFL is moving really fast globally. There's a new country.
So many
So
international games.
right, there's a new country every year getting an international game. So, and there's still talks about Mexico getting an NFL franchise. So
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Okay.
Mexico is one, and I think they were also talking about like London, but Mexico the biggest one because right now travel wouldn't be too bad. You would just have to.
Yeah. Time zone wise,
Never mind. I was gonna say something, but I was say. Anyway.
just have to get over the gate.
Like you just have to jump over the wall that they didn't build
There's
correctly.
little slots.
That's right.
The Chargers' first game, they're opening the season in Brazil.
See?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Eagles won the game. Well, the Eagles won the game versus the Packers in Brazil and ended up going on and winning the Super Bowl. Huh?
Okay, take it
Huh?
easy. Take it easy. Take it easy.
Huh?
This is just
Correlation?
look.
Causation?
The best thing you guys are gonna get is the videos that people put out. Well, as soon as they announced that the Chargers would be playing in Brazil, it's the videos of people saying, "Oh, NFL players, please, if you come to Brazil, don't have your phone out because it'll be taken right out of your hand and you'll never get it back."
Bro, there's so many people in Brazil. There's so many crowds to disappear into.
Oh my god!
Just like any city, anywhere.
Right,
But you have the London games. There's games in Germany,
Germany,
Spain. I mean,
Mexico,
they're announcing them all the time,
Spain.
but it's going to be
I wanna,
Mexico
I wanna
City,
see, I wanna see a game in like Greenland or Antarctica. That'd be amazing.
Greenland.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
on the
yeah.
ice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's because all the freaking we're trying to take over Greenland.
Or that too. I mean,
No,
or
no.
the Gulf of America.
Oh, right in the middle,
Right.
floating. Bro, have one of those. The freaking plane hangar ships.
Hey,
They
they
had
had
like a basketball game
right.
on
North Carolina played Michigan State on the aircraft carrier.
aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
Freaking plane hangar ships. Sorry.
Same thing.
Who was the former freaking okay.
Right. Weren't you in the military?
Yeah, I'm like, what is it called?
Obviously wasn't
Aviators.
the Navy.
No, it was not. A boat? All right. Yeah, so a bunch of
Hey,
international
but
games. That's
also,
the latest I have on the Chargers.
hey,
They've
you
been doing
guys
a bunch of
signed
like low key.
you guys signed a great center, to put into
Right.
your key
Took
piece.
him
Well, he
for the
came from a
Raiders.
great team. I don't know how great he is. He came from a
See what
great
I'm
team.
saying? See what I'm
But,
saying? Yeah, actually, I don't know how great he was. We let him go. So yeah, we signed Andre James. Um, Mekhi Becton, big
right.
former first round pick, right tackle or left tackle, now
Uh,
going to play right guard for us.
you guys
Boom.
have Philadelphia to thank for tapping into
Yeah.
to his move to guard and tapping into that, because at tackle it looked like he was going to be a bust because he was a high draft pick for the Jets. Um, got there and like just wasn't panning out for them. Got traded over to the Eagles and they decided to move him inside, and he won a Super Bowl.
Won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's part of a Super Bowl winning offensive line where he was really good on that line. So it also
Solid.
helps to play next to Jordan Mailata, but you know
Yeah.
that's neither here or there. Uh, so that's a great signing.
That entire offensive line and their coach too.
Yeah,
Uh, so bringing him over is definitely an upgrade for a position of need, interior lineman, right? Also bringing in, like you said, Andre James, former Raider, to back up or start at center is cool. I also like that Mekhi Becton in a pinch, right, could play tackle,
right. He
right?
can swing tackle,
You
right?
know, so that's definitely
Where
versatility
does
and
where does that move
flexibility.
Zion to?
Zion Johnson is still at left guard,
Okay,
right? We talked about hearing rumors of moving to center, but they just brought in a new center. They re-signed Bradley Bozeman, their starting center from last week. So I think Zion Johnson is going to stay at left guard, and probably is not getting his fifth-year option picked up.
mm,
Just the
that's
way that
interesting.
they're doing the money, it's like short-term deals. It's not committing long-term to people. So, and I'm
He was
fine
the
with that.
guy,
That is the way to do it. Oh,
right?
a quote that I definitely wanted to mention from GM Joe Ortiz, who was with the Baltimore Ravens for almost 3 decades, talked about. Someone asked him about, okay, so you didn't fill the positions with free agency. Are you going to do that with the draft? And he was like, that's not the mentality that we're taking. We're staying draft centric and then filling with free agency.
Mm,
We're not, we're going to draft the players that we think we need. And then we're going to use free agency to just like band-aid certain positions,
yeah,
but short term,
yeah.
until you can draft a guy that can fill in that position. So I love that draft philosophy, team building philosophy. Um, yeah, and I think it's going to work out. And it's a definitely more long term, because it's not like to fill the free agency, to do those free agency band-aids for your draft is a whole season after that draft,
Right,
right? It's not free agency and then a month later you're like, oh snap, we got to draft the best
exactly.
position. We need the best tight end here at number 3 or something like that. It's just like, um, to be able to draft best player available and then grow them into the system and then use free agency as kind of those band-aids is really good.
Right.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a slow week for the Chargers. Other than that, yeah, taking over Greece. Opa! NFL rule proposals. The tush push will not be banned.
I mean, I like that. Because I'm one of those like, hey man, if you can't stop it, don't be a bitch. You know what I mean? Find a way to stop it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So
Um,
the tush push not getting banned is getting postponed. They're going to look at it some other time. Some people are saying that it's an injury, it's a safety risk, right? The numbers as far as injuries during those plays do not back up that assessment. It's not like a more dangerous play than anything else. But that seems to be the only thing that people that want to ban the tush push are using it as. It's not like we can't stop it. Obviously, you can't say that publicly, right? You can
right,
because
right.
fairness for me. Uh, they're saying it's like, it's a rugby scrum. People can get hurt. Um, so they're tabling that for now. A couple rules that have passed. Some changes to the NFL overtime rules. The NFL will now allow both teams to possess the ball in overtime, but amend it's going to be stay 10 minutes, but both teams are going to get a chance to score, even if the first team scores a
Like
touchdown.
college. Yeah.
Yeah, so expanded replay assist has been passed, and some tweaks to the formation and rules for the kickoff. It looks like they're going to move the touchback line from the 30, which was moved from the 25, which was moved from the 20. They're going to move it from the 30 to the 35. So kickoff teams
And
are
that's
kind
just
of
so
forced to,
right. That's
kick
so
more
they
fieldable kicks,
right.
more kick returns is what they want.
So this is what they did, guys. They adopted the new kickoff formation so that players wouldn't get hurt, and then they moved the line forward so that you could kick it so players can run so they can get hurt.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, they changed it to that like new dynamic position where players, instead of being like, you all start at the 35, you all start wherever, and let's slam you together, get some good returns. Now most of the people are lined up within 5-10 yards of each other. There's the kicker all by himself back there kicking, and then you can't move until the ball is fielded. But it's
Makes you
not
talk a lot
worth
of
it
shit though.
to give the return team the chance to score a touchdown
Right,
on this. So people are just kicking out the back of the end zones. Screw it,
right,
take it at the 30. Now you go to the 35, bro. You're 15 yards from midfield. You're a first
right.
down away from. You're
From
two
a
first
field goal.
downs away from a field goal, right? Now it's like, how is that really going to play into the coaching strategy enough to make it be like, oh, we need to do more pooch
Take
kicks
it
at
to the
least. We
5,
need,
yeah, take it to the
yeah,
10.
do like the rolling, like squib kicks, so
Yeah.
that there's other rules too, that if it like rolls out of the end zone, it'll be at the 20, but if it's kicked out the back of the end zone, then it goes to the 35, stuff like that. So,
We need a
well,
button on the show that when they have like rules like that, if we don't like, they can scream out like the kids that I work with, the buns,
buns.
the buns.
So those are
Just have a
some of
rule of
the
buns.
proposals and some of the decisions by the rule committee. I was trying to see if they can if they were going to decide on that doing the seeding by record instead of division games.
No,
But
they said that. So far the support is to not change it. That's what the support is so far.
if you
That's it.
win right now, if you win a division game, no matter how bad your overall record, like the NFC
Right.
South, the old NFC West used to be, it's like, oh, a team with a 7-9 record is the number 4 seed, automatically getting a home game because they won their bad division. Someone proposed that, like, oh, okay, instead of you getting a
The
home
number one
game,
seed. Yeah.
yeah, you would be lower than a wild card team with a better record, kind of like the Minnesota Vikings, who ended up being the 5th seed with like a 14-3 record.
Yeah. Yeah.
But all the way down to the 5th seed, they would have been the 3rd seed in hosting a game. But the Lions, unfortunately, were like 15-2.
I think the one rule that's irking me right now is the celebration rule that they've now banned.
Oh, okay, yeah. What is this? You talking about the nose wipe, the CD Lamb nose wipe?
Yeah. Yeah. Supposedly it's gang related. Uh
It's a
I mean
15-yard penalty if you do the nose. Oh, I thought it was like freaking. I'm sick.
or or like dope.
Okay. Oh, it's a drug. Damn. I just thought it was
But
sick.
so yeah, they banned it because they feel like it's a gang related symbol or
They don't want the
celebration.
kids seeing that.
Right. I mean, okay, we'll just have them seeing other guys get CTE, but sure,
Oh damn.
sure. Uh, but yeah, I just like for me, it's just another thing that owners do so they can have control because they're also like they're obviously losing control of the contracts because some of these contracts are ridiculous. Aaron Rodgers. Uh, but I just think it's another thing that they're doing too. I'm glad they didn't do the tush push. But this also is just it's weird. I know it seems minor, but it's weird.
I heard you say the name. Aaron Rodgers had a throwing session, like a little workout, a practice with him and Steelers wide receiver DK Metcalf.
Look, until he signs a piece of paper, I don't care, man. I don't care. Also, I don't care where he signs anymore. Man, I feel so bad for Steeler fans because even front office, they're like, oh well, we're not rushing him. You should be, fool. He's not that good to demand you or to have that in demand, that you don't rush him, that you haven't signed anybody, that you're gonna go and look. Mason Rudolph might be a good quarterback. Uh,
No.
he had a good end of last season, but from what we've seen, he's not the guy to lead the team to the Super Bowl, which is your goal as a team. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers in the last 2 seasons has proven he's that quarterback either. And to like just hold teams hostage because you think you're worth more than what teams were probably going to offer you, get the hell out of here, bro. Like you can't.
Get the hell out of
That's what
here.
I'm saying. Go back to your cave and like find yourself again because uh that's crazy, crazy work, crazy work. If you come out and win the Super Bowl for the Steelers, I will be the first one to shut my mouth and I'll apologize. But oh my gosh, just you're ridiculous, bro. Ridiculous. At this point, I hope they get Kirk Cousins. You know what I mean?
Hey, trade for Kirk Cousins. I have seen other options pumping up since like Aaron Rodgers hasn't been quick to
Right.
sign. So I wonder how the Steelers fans are feeling listening to
Uh,
this
for every
without a
team,
quarterback, having some guy leaving
exactly.
them hanging like that.
For every team who needs a quarterback and isn't in that win now place right now, I think they should go out and get Joe Milton. I think the potential
Hmm.
he has, the arm he has. I know it was just in little spots last year, but even the stuff he did at Tennessee, and just off of talent, I think Joe Milton would be a great quarterback for a team right now who's looking to build. And I think Joe Milton would be a good guy to bring in and lead your team. Jacksonville, maybe Trevor Lawrence isn't the dude right now. So, yeah,
Man, I saw that the pictures that they or the videos that they were posting from that practice of Aaron Rodgers passing DK Metcalf the ball, DK running along with it. Uh,
yeah, to slow down.
yo, hey, okay, yeah, he didn't really hit him in stride. Yeah, DK had to. Yeah, so it's like, is that because they're going to be teammates, or is that because Aaron Rodgers is like, can I work out with this guy? Like, our playing style is good enough. Uh, Aaron Rodgers recently divorced from Devontae Adams. He's now with Matt Stafford over in Los
Right.
Angeles, right? So Aaron Rodgers feeling a little abandoned, feeling a little free, reckless. Maybe he's gonna go with DK up in Pittsburgh. So we'll definitely keep track of whenever the hell he decides to to do that.
Man, all these
I feel
teams
like
hope that
maybe we
Aaron
might be
Rodgers.
waiting until after the draft because he
I
doesn't
hope
want the
so.
Steelers. If the Steelers take Jackson Dart at 20, he's going to be like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Right, exactly. I hope we wait till the end of this season to announce his retirement. But
just don't play anymore.
are these teams just waiting, hoping that he comes in and throws like, which is his claim to fame at the moment? He was a good quarterback. I won't lie about that. But right now, everybody's just like, oh, he throws one of the best Hail Mary ball. Like all the highlights that they show now about him and other teams is him throwing a Hail Mary up and the receiver catching it. Like, is that not half the receiver?
Right,
Like,
right, right.
but anyway, we give too much attention to Aaron Rodgers.
Moving on. NCAA is
Ooh, uh,
madnessing. The brackets have all been busted. I think there's one perfect bracket left. That might have been busted.
that's crazy. Yeah, a perfect bracket this deep in the tournament is actually pretty crazy.
I think it broke the record for most consecutive. It was like it was 50-0 to start, and then this one was 55-0. It might have been
Yeah,
better, or it might
mhm,
have broken then. Uh, what's going on? You're a big uh, college hoops fan. Uh,
definitely.
go Heels. What do you see? You mentioned that there are four number one seeds in the
Four
men's
number one
Final
seeds
Four.
right now in the Final Four. That's difficult to do. Um, more in the men's because
The
and not to
women's
say that
programs are like more
women,
consistently up there.
yeah, the
Same
women's
ones.
programs, yeah, and it's not that they're any less in playing. It's just like you just said, a lot of the talent they like to stay within that top group. So with the transfer rules, even more now. And so with the guys are about the same way now, but the blue bloods are always going to be the blue bloods. Like, and that's because guys are they're not very good thinkers. Just, you know what? I'm just gonna go to Kentucky. You know what? I'm just gonna yeah. So uh,
They're like, coach isn't there anymore.
right. Right, coach. Now you know what? I'm just gonna transfer now, and they're offering me this. Oh, I'm gonna take this money. Like the number one high school recruit this year signing with BYU. When in the excuse my language, when in the F did you ever hear of a number one prospect in basketball, maybe football, sign with BYU out of high
But
school?
that's
AJ Debonesta is signing or has signed, sorry, with BYU. So I
and
mean,
that's because they're paying him.
I I mean,
I guess
unless he's
that's
like
like
unless he's like super Mormon, you know.
you said Epinesa.
As you're right. That I would understand. That I would understand. But yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, so the landscape in men's college basketball is just a little different than women's. So that's why it's super tough to have four number one seeds in the final four. Also because it's a one and done tournament and teams rise just like the women's.
One and
Teams
done.
rise to the occasion. You know what I mean? You tell me that I'm about to if I lose, I go home. Guys, they turn on a different switch. Women too. Sorry, not anyway. When I say guys, because I won't say guys, that's both men and women. But I don't want to get canceled, Lance. I've been canceled. uh, yeah, people tend to rise to that occasion. It's a tournament, and that's why March Madness is the greatest tournament ever. 64 teams trying to beat each other to get to the championship in a bracket. That's crazy.
Gotta
And
be
so,
perfect.
oh my gosh, you got to be perfect. There's no way you can't falter. Auburn, Duke, Houston, Florida, all number one seeds, all made it. Florida just barely made it. They made it on the go-ahead three. Houston's another new name at the top. Um,
Kelvin
and
Sampson,
Kelvin Thompson, who was
coach.
also the coach at he coached Blake Griffin at Oklahoma. So
Oh, okay. I was wondering where I
yeah,
recognized him from.
he was also a really great college player himself. But
Nice.
Houston, we haven't heard Houston in the championship since the days of the Phi Theta Slam dunk guys that were there with Clyde Drexler and those guys. So Houston's fairly new recently in like the top teams. Them being number one is pretty big. Auburn, they've been in and out of like top 10 contingency in the past 20 years, but now they've consistently been at the top. Duke is a name, of course, that you will
Ugh.
always, yeah, exactly. My feelings. Sorry, Chelsea. I
My
know.
feelings exactly.
Sorry, Chelsea. Uh, love Chelsea. I love you to death, Chelsea. I can't root for Duke. I'm sorry. Um, yeah. They're gonna consistently. We've heard. I don't know. There's ever been a time. I know they've been unranked. UNC's been unranked. Michigan's been a team that's been unranked. Kentucky's been unranked, but none of them have never been like thought of as out of the way. Like
Afterthought.
right. So Duke's there. We've seen Florida win the championship with Billy Donovan, and he had Joakim Noah with him, Corey
Damn.
Brewer.
Those guys
Uh,
are retired now, though. Like, that's so long.
well, Jokim's retired. Corey Brewer's still playing somewhere.
Oh, I'm sorry, Corey.
What's his name?
Hey, frequent
Uh,
flyer at Club Rouge. Oh, I mean, hey.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Uh, the center for gosh, why can't I remember his name? The center for Boston, the older guy.
Horford?
Horford was on that.
Damn, Horford was on that college team.
Horford was on that college team, so that was a pretty good college team. Florida again, they won the championship. Not recently, but like more recently than the other two teams in Auburn and Houston. So yeah, I mean, four number one seeds, it's going to be a good tournament. Um, again, Duke is probably the favorite with the number one overall prospect coming out of high school last year, and Cooper Flag,
Oh,
who's also the number one prospect in this NBA draft coming up. A lot of people look at Cooper Flag as like a generational talent. I'm sorry that term has been overused a lot, but basically that's what he is. A lot of people like because he's white or like Kevin Love, and some people were like, "What the hell?"
Kevin Love was like, no, this guy's way more
Right, he's
talented than
way
me.
exactly,
Oh, damn.
exactly, and he was like, "I don't take that as a." When people were saying that, he agreed, and he said, "I don't take people saying that as an insult because the kid is like, yeah, I can play ball, I can shoot, but this kid can do everything." I think the best comparison that I've seen to him is Kevin Garnett, because right now his
Nice.
shooting isn't on par, but he can do everything else at like an amazing level. And the shooting will get there because Kevin Garnett also came in. His mid range was all right, but it got so much better as time went on. He wasn't the greatest 3-point shooter, but you could count on him to hit three. So I think that's the part of the game for Cooper Flag that will grow when he gets to the league. But Duke, I think the number one seed right now, they're they look good, and they don't only have him. They're also the tallest and biggest team in the country right now. Um, so they've got guys. They've got the guards to do it too. Florida, they have an amazing guard who looks like he's carrying the team, but they're also a lot of these teams, and you'll hear this term now, are five-guy teams because before you used to like there used to be like two guys on the team that would really do everything and everybody else would just play their role. But now a lot of teams, because of transfer rules, you're having to find five guys who can play together to get to a championship. So
Mm.
Houston, Florida, and Auburn, although they have like a star on the team, they're all like and Duke. I'm sorry. It's just Duke has that one star that's super polarized. Like you're gonna see their star, but the other three, they have guys on the team who people consider stars, but they're more considered five-guy teams. So great to see. It's gonna be a great tournament. And then moving into the women's.
Wait.
Go
The
ahead.
last time that there were four number one seeds in the men's tournament was
30 years ago.
2008.
Oh, see, yep.
Uh, Tell me who the biggest NBA future NBA stars were. These 2008: Kansas, North Carolina, Memphis, and UCLA.
Oh
Kansas
man,
beat the Tigers
Russell Westbrook,
75-68 in overtime to win the national title. Oh, Russ. Oh, damn. Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook.
Okay.
North Carolina has a whole bunch of players on that team, but if you look at their starting five, none of them are probably playing in the league right now, and they ended up winning the championship, I think.
Kansas beat the Tigers 75-68 in OT for the title.
Oh, okay. But still, Westbrook for me would have been
The
the
biggest
best
star
star.
there, the
Yeah, the
big
biggest star
name.
out of those four teams. Yeah.
All right, yeah. Moving on to the women's bracket. Big shout outs. Oh, okay, you do it because I want to
No,
do it.
hey, we're doing it. You can shout her out, but we're in the women's tournament now, and we're seeing again the I guess the difference in teams there is like a lot of the teams that we're seeing in the Final Four in women's are teams that we've seen before. South Carolina, coming off the championship last season, is back. Um, UCLA, they've been uh, maybe not in the Final Four, but they've been at the top of what used to be the Pac-12. And now I don't even know what conference they play in as women's right now. And so for some of you folks who don't know, you don't have to play in the same conference as your men's team. You don't even have to play in the same conference as your football or basketball team. Uh, but UCLA, man, they look really good too. Texas is for the past few years have been highly ranked and getting into like at least the Elite Eight, Sweet 16, and then you have UConn. And if you don't know about UConn in women's sports, you're either not a fan or you're a sexist. Jokes,
What
jokes, jokes.
what's their coach's name? Gino Arenelli.
Gino Auriemma
Gino
is,
Ariama.
I liken Gino Auriemma to Coach Pop in the NBA. That's who I think the
Nice.
comparison would be to in the women's game. I love Don Staley though, who is the head coach over at South Carolina. And man, I watched UConn take apart USC, a great USC team last night. And then as we talk about stars, it just goes to show that some teams like you could be a really great team, but you do need that star. And USC last night had to play without their star, who's probably the biggest star right now in college basketball. I think will end up being probably one of the, if not the best NBA player, WNBA player to come along in a long time in Juju Watkins. She had a really bad injury. We won't get into it because it sucks to always talk about it or see people play videos about it. But she had a significant lower body injury that kept her from the tournament. That's going to keep her out maybe until next January. Hopefully not.
Man.
Hopefully she comes back a little earlier than that. But they had runs where they would come back, but UConn would never let them get more than like 9 points close to them. You know, then they would go on a run, then they'd be back at 15, they'd be back at 17, and that's because they had Paige Beckers, who's just amazing. But more than that, they had Sarah Strong, who's a freshman, who put up 18 points in the first quarter, no misses in the first half. She was amazing. She had a spin move from the I think second hash mark. She swung in, one dribble, spun, laid it up. Footwork is amazing. Sarah Strong, 6'2" center for power forward actually for UConn. She's gonna be the next great at UConn. They got another girl in AZ Fudd who's coming off another injury, as Paige was a year ago, who's working her way back. She might be the star next year at UConn. Oh my gosh, they had a transfer from Princeton. Chen, she was amazing, amazing, just killing. You know what I mean? And you got to be really good to transfer from Princeton to UConn to come in and make an impact like that. So yeah, I love watching women's basketball. It was amazing to watch. Good game yesterday, but um, before we also go to South Carolina, the team that we're probably both rooting for
Hmm.
obvious reasons. Shout out to Talia Olafson, who played for USC. She's a transfer from Oregon State. Um, Another Poly player. We are very well represented in women's college basketball. Men's basketball too. We just don't know about a lot of these guys. Like I don't know how many people know that Kaylin Boswell is half Samoan. So great to see that. But in the women's league, we're there, man. In the man. So Talia, who plays for USC, shout out to you. Sorry you guys couldn't get to the
Final four.
Final Four, but man, she played a great game. She played a great game. But now moving on to South Carolina. Yee,
Yeah.
man,
Hey,
Tahina
is
Bao
would
Bao,
you say
man.
South Carolina is going to be the favorite?
I do. I do because one, they're coming off a championship. You know what I mean? So I know your second championship they always say is the harder one because like for obvious reasons, I guess. Just how hard it is to get there the first time and you want to do it a second time. Okay. But they've got the stars to do it. They've got the stars to do it. They got Full Wiley, who was a freshman last year, who's come on super strong. They're um Kitts, Chloe Kitts, who is their post player. She's good. She actually hit the two free throws to ice the game the other night. You know, just she's good. She's good. And then just veterans like Tahini Pau Pau, who
Yes, sir.
coming out of high school was highly ranked, top five. She went to Oregon, had a good career there. Decided to transfer when the time was right to go over to South Carolina to play for Dawn Staley. Won her
What a
first
good
championship.
move.
Oh man, such a good move. Anytime, especially for a guard, and for all of the kids playing college sports, if you're about to transfer, take a I mean, I know for you there's a lot of stigmatism, like it's just money. I know you guys do your due diligence. I'm not saying you guys don't, but take a look at fit too with coaches because like if you're a guard and you see like Don said is gonna come out to recruit you or they have like an opening there and you think you're gonna fit there, that helps a lot. Like because Don Sadie was one of the best guards ever in the WNBA, career wise, college wise. And for Tahina to go over there and learn from her and just be a part of that system, I think it
Mm.
fit well for her. Uh, she had 4 blocks 2 games ago. Man, you know what I mean? She's so
Six
funny.
steals so far, six
Feels
blocks, getting it
man.
done,
That's what I'm
getting it.
saying.
Yeah, grinded.
She's the veteran on the team now. She has a championship in her pocket, and she could have gone. I think like at least top 10 last year in the draft if she had entered. I think her coming back. I don't know how well it helps her. I don't think it hurts her. So I think
Mm-hmm.
she's still in that range, 1 to 10, probably not one. Uh, I think Becker's goes one this year. I think Tahina's like in the 6 to 10 range. But
She's yeah. Shout out to the senior promotion side. This is
yeah,
her third, fourth straight Final Four. What did you
yep,
reach?
yep.
How often does that happen? Is that
Not too
because of the
often.
women's game being like best teams up there?
Yeah, not too often. But like, you also had shout out to Haley Van Lith at TCU. Um, she just went to her third Elite Eight with her third different team, and that's crazy. She started off at Louisville. She helped Louisville get there. She went to LSU, helped LSU get there last year, and then this year she got there with TCU. Amazing career. Also to highlight her because she was open enough to come on and talk about her mental health and how a few seasons ago she was just on the verge of suicide, really. And her coming over
Yeah,
again, finding the right coach. The coach is gonna. I don't want coaches to like call to you or favor you, but I want coaches to teach you and care for you, and that's what she found at TCU. So shout out to him, man, because he really like. If you listen to Haley Van Lith, he saved her life. Just by being a coach and not really anything on the field, just by being a human. And so
yeah.
amazing. But as to your question, it is tough. It is tough because, like you said, like we discussed earlier, a lot of the top teams they stay consistent at the top. We will see UConn in the Final Four. I think every year now. That's not a stretch to say. I think next year they'll be
So
in the Final Four.
those players are like, yeah, we get to the Final Four
Right.
all the time.
Yeah, and then like South Carolina, they weren't this great until and if you're a South Carolina fan, you can come on and tell me, but to my knowledge, until Don Staley got there, and Don Staley
Mm-hmm.
just really took over the tournament. They were good. They were good. They were still ranked, but when Don Staley got there, she turned them into what they are now, uh, which is
Perennial.
exactly. And uh, also in women's basketball, getting the top recruits, that's crucial too. So um, yeah, it's pretty tough. It's an accomplishment for Tahina, for Haley Van Lith.
Hey,
Super big accomplishments, and we can't wait to see Tahina hoist up another championship trophy if that's in the
he's
books.
back.
And then I'm hoping that she gets to go somewhere who's gonna like hone her skills in the WNBA. But I'm also hoping she goes to Vegas so I can go watch. So
Baller.
Vegas, if you're listening, if you guys need another guard, I know you guys lost Kelsey Plum. You traded her actually.
They let
Yeah.
Kate Martin go too, huh?
Well,
Well, she got in
that
that expansion draft.
expansion draft, and
She wasn't a
which
protected
is
player.
great
Damn.
because for Kate Martin, that's like if the expansion team picks you, and from a list of and she didn't play too much last year, but she showed a lot. That should be her sign to know that she belongs in the league. Like, damn, okay, so this team, I look
Nice.
forward to seeing her play with the Valkyrie. But yeah, Tahina, go talk to the Aces. Tell them to draft you. Aces,
Pow,
Chelsea, if
pow,
you're
pow,
listening,
pow, pow,
yeah,
pow.
yeah, man.
All right. Yeah, shout out to March Madness and the
Greatest time
NFL.
of the year, right? If it's not
Things are
Christmas, it's March
crazy.
Madness.
Baseball starting. It's also the road to WrestleMania. This is going to be the last thing before we close out. I just really got to update you on what's going on. The original tribal chief, the bloodline reigner, Roman Reigns, is in a triple threat match at WrestleMania with his former Shield partner Seth Rollins, who he has always had beef with since he got that chair shot to the back of to his back, and CM Punk, who Roman Reigns shares a wise man manager, Paul Heyman, with. Uh, Paul Heyman, obviously, he's like really into supporting the tribal chief Roman Reigns, but he also has history with CM Punk when he was his manager. So he's like playing both of those guys. So
Right.
there's like a triangle though, because CM Punk is also hella hated on by Seth Rollins, who is that former Shield teammate of Roman Reigns, right? So they got this weird triangle going where it's like each guy hates the other two guys, but bringing it all together is kind of still a little weird. But something that was announced when they signed this contract this week to make the match official: Roman Reigns versus Seth freaking Rollins versus CM Punk. is that there was a stipulation in the contract that it would be closing the show at WrestleMania. The problem with that is there are two heavyweight championships, right, in the WWE. There's one for Raw, there's one for the Friday show, SmackDown. Cody Rhodes and John Cena are fighting for the title. It's Cena's chance at number 17, the most ever. It's Cody Rhodes putting down this new heel Cena. It's definitely got a bunch of people following it, a bunch of followers. It's going to be one of the main events. WrestleMania being a 2-night event now means they have to have two main events.
That's crazy.
So the other one, if John Cena versus Cody Rhodes is one main event, and this triple threat match between CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins is another one, what is going on with main event Jey Uso's title challenge versus World Heavyweight Gunther? What? Oh, and that brings us to our predictions from last week when we talked about Jimmy Uso smacking the hell out of Gunther and then challenging him to a match this week. Bruh. This man was so busted open. There was like a puddle of freaking blood on the mat. It was pretty bad. It was a regular match, whatever. Jimmy actually got some really good run. He like hit a low kick, a smack, a super kick, a freaking Uso splash. At one point, just like really had Gunther on the ropes and almost, beat him. But it flipped into Gunther choking out Jimmy Uso. And then that being the end of the match, he like choked him to sleep. But then instead of leaving the ring, he goes out the ropes, but he comes back in to beat up Jimmy Uso some more and put him in another chokehold after he had already won the match. So this is like bringing a lot of boos, right? A lot of heat, like, oh man, this guy's been a piece of shit. Jey Uso's music hits. He comes sprinting down, right? Eventually fights off Gunther, who disappears into the crowd. They go to commercial break as Jimmy's like, Jay's holding Jimmy and like trying to help him up. It's like, hey, Uso, I got you. All this stuff. They come back from commercial. Gunther and Jay is like helping Jimmy walk, right? He's like supporting him, and Jimmy's like really messed up. He's like coughing up a little bit. Gunther comes back out from the crowd, clotheslines both of them, uses one of the security guards' zip ties to zip tie Jay's hand to the ropes, and then beats the crap out of his brother in front of him. Jimmy keeps getting up, right? Jimmy's doing this like, I'm not going to quit. You can't silence us, all that like kind of vibes. And Gunther just keeps bringing him down. He takes the championship. He runs. He smacks it across his face. He busts him open, bro. He's bleeding. And then he brings him back into the ring where Jay is like handcuffed, zip tied to. I didn't like that it was a zip tie. I was like, hey, you need some handcuffs, man. Come on, you snap it off. But as Jay's pulling, he's also trying not to break it, but also like trying to show that, oh, no, hey, I'm going to kill that. Leave my brother alone. Please don't break this because it's a prop. So, yeah, Jimmy's like tied to the corner. Or Jay's tied to the corner as Gunther is just beating down Jimmy, choking him more. There is so much red. This was like, it's not a touch. It was his whole face. It was worse than Stone Cold Steve Austin getting that sharpshooter by Bret Hart. It was all over Gunther. It was crazy, right? And this is what we thought was going to happen. Jimmy was going to get hospitalized so that Jay could be like furious to put more like emotion and like eyes onto this match. But it was kind of disappointing to hear that they were like, oh, this CM Punk's going to get his first WrestleMania main event, because now where does that put Jey Uso and the Usos in this in their thing as far as
we should write for the WWE, man. We should go right for the WWE, man.
What would you make them do? Like Jimmy's in the hospital, Jay's got to like go and beat up this crazy Austrian super huge guy. Or what would you add into that? Rikishi comes out. Oh, dun, 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 dun. Oh, it's the Usos, Dad. That fool's active.
He is active. He's funny. I'd make it a side by side main event for one of the fights and have a simultaneous fight going on.
Oh, no! Co-main events at the
Right?
same
At the
damn
same
time.
time, right? Right? And then I'd have both fights spill into each other. And then then in the next season of like Raw and now you have an alliance. You have different alliances now, so you know what I mean. Yeah.
uh, I don't know. Yeah, Jay and Gunther are younger, I guess. So if you want to go with like respect your elders type stuff, Roman Reigns, CM Punk,
Oh,
these
for
guys
sure.
are like 40s, 50s. They're also more like established individual names. So even though Jay won the Royal Rumble, is challenging Gunther, who's had the heavyweight title for months and months since he's got it back from since he got it from David Priest. It's kind of a bummer that Jay's not going to be main event WrestleMania. Jay
Unless they
Uso.
postpone it for SummerSlam.
Yeah, maybe. Uh, so yeah, that's what's going on. Also with the wise man sharing between Roman Reigns and CM Punk, getting CM Punk into the WrestleMania main event, or to quote unquote close the show. Uh, Roman Reigns assumed that that was the favor that CM Punk was owed, since CM Punk gave Paul Heyman a favor by joining Roman Reigns and the rest of the old bloodline versus Solo Sikoa's bloodline at Bad Blood, I think it was. Uh, Roman Reigns is like, don't thank them. Don't thank the people. Thank me. You should be thanking your tribal chief. Do it right. CM Punk gets down on one knee. Thank you, my tribal chief. I appreciate you. I appreciate me getting into this match, but this is not the favor that I was owed. So people are like, oh shit, it's actually something else. Paul Heyman looked distressed. Roman Reigns is like, you cheating on me?
I'd have punched him
Right
in the
behind
face.
me. uh, Seth Rollins is furious, bro. His whole part in this is like, you guys are part timers that don't deserve it. I'm here every week. I fight in matches every other week. You guys just run around. You maybe do a half match every month. You just talk on the mic and stuff like, I'm the one that deserves it. You don't deserve this stuff. So and now he's fighting Roman Reigns because like, you put him on your team at Bad Blood, and now he's back into this, and now he's all this. CM Punk's like, you're just jealous that I've always been better than you. Roman Reigns is like, you guys are, yeah. But CM Punk also wants to be fighting for a title, but he can't because Jay's fighting for a title. John Cena's fighting for the other title. John Cena won the Elimination Chamber. And they get automatic bids, kind of like those NFL playoff teams that win their divisions, even though they're 7-10 now, 8-9.
See, folks, it happens everywhere, folks. See, told you.
Yeah, that is the breakdown. I'll let you know what happens next week after I watch SmackDown and Raw this week also. But yeah, that's our show. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. Any shout outs before we go?
No, nothing. Oh man, no. You know what? I'm stupid. Shout out to Teeny Needles. He's a tattoo artist out here. Well, from American Samoa. He's out here in Washington right now, working at Pocket Polynesia, working out of Pocket Polynesia here in Kent, Washington. Um, Man, there's a bunch of great artists down there, but Teeny's here visiting. He does great work. If you want to jump online and check out his work, it's at teeny_needles on Instagram. Also, you can look at Lee's Inked, who also tattoos out of there at LIIS_inked, Lee's Inked. Both great artists. They tattoo out of Pocket Polynesia. So yeah, shout out to them. Man, T's come a long way from a dude. Like he's always been a great artist, and then one day he decided to take up tattooing. And now his line work is amazing. I'll always say. Um, Also shout out to our guy Josh Lloyd, A1 Tattoo. His home base is here in Vancouver, Washington, but he's in Sacramento right now. He got to do some great work with our really good friend, our brother, Cepha. So if you guys follow Cepha, you've seen some of the work that he's done already. But yeah, A1_Tattoo on Instagram. his work is amazing. And he DM'd me last night and uh offered me a spot. Like, you know what I mean? Because just amazing, man. So if I need a tag, he offered me a spot, and um I might have to take it, man, because his work is amazing. So shout out to him. Just a great. I mean, he's a friend of the show. We've had him on the show before. If you guys don't, if you guys have been following us from the beginning. We had Josh on the show. You know, such good vibes coming out of Josh, man. Ain't one to tell.
Always.
Always good vibes, man. Love the guy. Love the stuff he does for the community. He does a lot of outreach too. I mean, with his tattooing, you know, he's always trying to help people. Yeah, man. Shout out to those guys, man. Always great to see. And then again, shout out to PD Toilolo, who goes by PD Pete on Instagram. Damn, I got the handle. I'm stupid.
PD_PD209.
There you go. PD Toilolo, who he launched his living room media a while ago. He does videos, content for creators, pictures, amazing stuff. He does a lot of teaching with kids, just putting them on to photography, showing them a different, like something different, like, you know. Um, but he also launched his clothing line, and his first piece of clothing he put out was a living room hoodie that, and if you order it early enough, it comes with this super dope scarf, you know, and he chose the beaver to be like, I guess, his representation on the scarf, because the beaver is always at work. You know what I mean? It's always working. And,
Busy.
yeah, busy. And so, yeah, shout out to him, man. A lot of these creators and these Pacifica artists, like, I always love, just even though we've always tried to put like the spotlight on them, and even these guys, we've shouted them out a couple of times on the show. Like, you can never be enough. You know, it can never be enough. Uh, it's like when we give a shout out to our sponsor every month, because he does great stuff too. You know, Eli, he deserves to be mentioned in almost every conversation that we have. So, and so do these guys. So, yeah, shout out to those guys.
Amen. Uh, yeah, shout out to Levasa Island Apparel at le_Vasa. Also,
Yee.
www.levasaislandapparel.com. And again, yeah, support the Patreon here on the Polytickin Network. Follow the Polytickin Podcast on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube page for Polytickin Network. Follow the socials. Oh Hello Marcus at Cepha M.
Yep.
Rate 5 stars on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to this wherever you're listening to this. Yeah, we very much appreciate it. It helps, the algorithms, the numbers, the spread. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. That's our show for this week. Thank you guys for listening. We will programming note, there will be a Polytickin Patreon episode this week. Planning to record on Saturday, but not before that. Guys have been busy. Our thoughts, love, prayers, love and light to Cepha M and the family down there in Sacramento. And then also Marcus has been doing a million things too for the family. It's been a very chock full
Busy.
March. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Patreon episode coming this week for the Polytickin Network. Definitely support there. Patreon.com/the Polytickin Podcast. Yeah, and Ballinesian Podcast here on the Polytickin Network. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tapping in. For Forrest, I'm Lance. Love and light. Appreciate you guys. What are the words? Stay hydrated, stay blessed, stay balling. Love and light. Peace.
Yee.